Around that inner circle should be those who build you up, who make you feel invincible, that you can do whatever you set your mind to. Welcome to episode number 27 of the Overwhelmed to Resilient podcast. I'm Dr. Phyllis, your host. And in today's episode, I want to carry over from last week where I was talking with you about the importance of dreaming big to help you get unstuck. And in today's episode, I want to talk about why everyone cannot go with you in your new season. Let me say that again. Not everyone can go with you in your new season. So after you prayed on it and you can have acknowledged that you're stuck because you realize you've outgrown the situation. It's not the fact that you're not enough. You're enough and more. And now you have to look at how do you get out of with God's direction this current situation so that you can reignite your passion, reignite your joy, reignite your peace while you're at this crossroads. The journey is a blessing when you can find the right people who can pour into you, that can encourage you, because not everyone is going to be able to see your vision or understand it. There's some, they don't want to do anything more. They're just happy where they're at. They're not worried about growing anymore. And there's some who will try to sabotage you because if they don't want to grow, they're afraid you're going to outgrow them. So they try to, we know who that is. We know that's Satan get busy. I'm not saying the person is Satan. I'm just saying Satan can work in all of us. That's why we have to continue to pray that we show up in life with our Jesus spirit versus the other one's spirit. But sometimes people, it's just they're afraid of losing you, losing your relationship, or being left behind. But you have to keep your eye on what God and who God has created you to be and what he's created you for. But you just can't take everyone with you. And you don't need, it's like a hot air balloon. You don't need a bunch of sandbags. Or if you are trying to be in a boat, you don't need someone who's poking holes in the boat while you're trying to sail. Okay? And I think about Bishop T.D. Jakes, and I might have shared this before. I think I shared this on a previous episode that there's three type of relationships, three types of associates. And it was powerful when I got this, that there are comrades, people that you're against the same thing. There are constituents, people that you are for the same thing. And then there's confidants who you all are for and against the same thing. They get you, they got your back, front, side. Have you ever realized there's different type of people in your life, different type of spirits in your life? I know, because I have learned this sometimes the hard way. I've had people who I have just misread the relationship. And once I realized how I misread the relationship, then I can forgive and move on because I don't sit there beating myself up, but I learn from it. So I don't hopefully make that mistake again. Because I've had people that were for the same thing that then I assume because we're for the same thing, we're good and we're cheering for the same team, that we really are close, only to find out, no, we're not. And sometimes those can be the people that can sabotage you. I also have had situations where we're against the same thing. And we're fighting side by side. But yet, when I've stepped up to advocate for them, you hear crickets, which means it's quiet. They're not with you. They're only with you when you're fighting against the same thing. But my circle of confidants is not gigantic, nor should it be. Your circle of confidants should be those people who you know have your back. They're not going to tell you whatever you want to hear. They're going to ask questions. You may have some differing opinion at times, but yet the true love and support is there that you're able to talk through it. And time has tested the relationship to the point that you know they truly got your back. And when you go to them and you're telling them your dreams, yeah, they might not understand it, but they get it. And they want to get it because they want to see you succeed. Oftentimes, I think this shows up at work, especially with women, because I have a passion for women's ministry. And one of my areas is that I'm really interested in helping women work better with women. It's very unfortunate. I don't know if you've had this experience that women either can hold each other up or they sure can bring each other down. And I think often it's because as women, we want to fight over some little piece of the pie instead of like linking arms and let's take the whole piece of the whole pie. And we easily get into that mode of we get caught up in the tokenism. And so somehow we feel like if there's another woman trying to get in, we have to like compete with them. And lady, you know how we can be. Another woman walks in the room. If we're not careful, we're not necessarily looking for the positives. We're always trying to look for something negative so that we don't feel bad or we don't feel intimidated, you know, so we can feel enough. But it can show up at work and it's unfortunate. And so I'm really about building women up, uplifting women. And when you find a sister friend, a confidant who has your back, there's nothing like the power of women. Nothing like the power of women. Not trying to disrespect you, my gentlemen out there, but there's a power of women that is just phenomenal when we come together and because we understand each other's experiences. And we approach life in a just God created us as some tough women. And when we can put our forces together, wow, we can move mountains. So, with that being said, it is imperative that you really look at your circle. I always told my kids that, your friends are really kind of like your friends, your family, your support system is like a tree trunk. If you were to cut a tree across, and in that very center ring is where I would put God through his son Jesus Christ and me. And I want you to put you, as I tell my kids, you're in the middle. You, God through his son Jesus Christ in the middle. And who is involved in forming those rings as you go out, as it gets bigger? But those that are in the middle, that are around that ring, I should say that inner ring, those should be your confidants. Now, yes, you have family members that I'm not telling you to get rid of your family members or ignore your family members, but you know that sometimes there are some family members that you just have to put some boundaries on. And we're going to talk about boundaries in future episodes. Is that you just have to put some boundaries on how much you're going to let their words infiltrate your spirit. But Around that inner circle should be those who build you up, who make you feel invincible, that you can do whatever you set your mind to. And then you may have friends in different settings that, you know, they may be then we're talking about where you kind of put those other relationships out in those outer rings, but you would do yourself well to just have your eyes and ears out so you can appropriately categorize your relationship. Doesn't mean that you'll never suffer heartbreak, but it sure will help you open your eyes and to be able to put your relationships in the proper perspective. Because as I said, I didn't always do that. And it caused a whole lot of heartbreak and disappointment and resentment that only once I really stepped back and realized that I was the one who had put a certain relationship or friendship or working together or whatever in the wrong category. And I don't want you to do that because I want you to be as much as possible for those people because you are going to be working on getting toward that dream we talked about. You're going to be dreaming big because when you start dreaming again, when you tap into your dreams, into your passions, then you're able to have joy, even in the midst of all that drama going on at work, or potentially some drama or struggles or trials and tribulations dealing at home. You are going to be able to deal with them because you have established your dreams. You've tapped into your passions. You've tapped into your peace. You've tapped into your joy. And when you do that, sis, it changes. It's like putting on a new pair of glasses and seeing for the very first time. It allows you to put things in better perspective. And when you tap into your joy, when you tap into your peace, when you tap into your power, then you can conquer the world. You can conquer the world with God as your GPS, as your true north, as your compass. So it doesn't mean some of that little stuff at work won't get on your nerves. But when you know that you have been called to something bigger and better, as I said last week, then you're able to put work in the right perspective. Now is the time to do that hard work and realize and be prayerful that everyone just can't go with you with the same amount of intensity and depth into your new season. I hope that you have learned something or been touched by something that was shared in today's episode. If there is someone else that can benefit from this episode, please share. I would greatly appreciate if you'd like. I really want to see your feedback, your comments. So subscribe, like, share, and I will see you next week on the Overwhelmed to Resilient podcast. Take care. Be well. See you soon. Bye.